It's not there yet.
Says we're streaming live.
Okay, we are live.
We are live on the inside. Ba-ba-ba-da-ba.
Yes, we could give people 2 minutes to get in here.
Yeah.
Get into this.
Yes, they'll be a little surprised to see that we are not drinking. We are serious tonight. So there will be no alcohols.
Unfortunately for me.
Guys, I don't, if anyone knows a qualified therapist who can help intervene, I just.
No, it's for the show only, not a real life. All right, let's start.
Who was that live for? Who was that live for? Okay, let's see. I'm just getting some DMs from people.
Okay.
That they want to find it. And so we got to make sure to post it everywhere. The link is in my bio on Instagram. The link is in the BK Rant and Rave bio. So they could get in here and get into this chat.
It's on the Soca Say So bio.
It's on the District Afro bio. I mean, really, it's,
everywhere.
What's again? Definitely saw people getting very anxious. Uh-oh.
They're so ready.
They're so ready. They want to know what we have to say. I hope we don't disappoint. You know, we're going to treat it fairly. We're going to treat it fairly because that is the whole point of these debates, is to be intellectual, not emotional, to really look at the issues and treat this thing fairly.
Fairly schmerly. I come out to fight.
And now I got to come for you. I wasn't going to do this, but okay.
Do what you got to do. Do what you got to do.
Okay. Let's see. Well, you'd be able to see the chat, so you tell me.
Empress Natty, I thank you. Empress Natty, hello, hi. She says that she will drink for us.
Oh, you're so, see, that's how Caribbean people do.
Real support.
Real support. I can't do it. You'll do it for me. The best.
Excellent. I love it.
I'm moved. I'm touched. I'm all of the things. Okay, we'll give them another minute and then we will get into it because we don't want to take up everyone's time tonight, and we definitely want to leave time for, you know, checking out the responses in the chat because I know people have things to say.
For sure. It seems like everybody has an opinion on this. This is one topic where everybody has an opinion. And honestly, I think all of the topics that we've picked for this debate series are debate for in everybody's households. And that's why we chose them. But this one is the one for the moment, for sure. This is the topic for right now.
You know how we do. We have to be of the moment.
Yeah. If you don't mind, can you smile? I'm going to take a picture of you.
Oh, do I mind?
Let me see if I can do this. 1, 2, 3. Wait, one more.
Oh, okay. Let me give you a different face.
So unprofesh. 1, 2, 3. I hope I got it.
I hope you got it too. That's all the face I can give you. And unfortunately, guys, I don't know if you can hear it, but it seems like all of the fires are happening right now. So
I don't hear anything.
I may mute just in case. Don't want that to be in the recording. I don't want it to be subliminal at all.
I don't hear anything, so
nice.
There's that.
Very nice. Very cool. Okay. Well, then let's get started. Yeah, let's do this.
Good. Introduce us.
All right. Who are we again? Okay, guys. So you probably came here from the BK Rant and Rave Instagram account, our YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We had to get into this. As you know, BK Rant and Rave, we do not shy away from hot topics, controversial topics. We started out with live chats, a live chat series where we talked about all of the issues affecting the Caribbean community in New York and around the world. And then we took it back to online. We did our podcast. We still have episodes coming for the podcast. Make sure you subscribe at bkrantandrave.com. And now we are doing the Can I Rant debate series. And this was sort of a pop-up debate because we weren't going to be the ones to debate. We were going to let you hear from like actual qualified, intelligent people, but you know, we obviously are. just you. But we wanted to make sure that we showcase people who have opinions about the things affecting us. And in this one, we just said, you know what, let's get into it. Let's talk about it because we, Soca Say So, Jamila Glean, and I have been having this conversation offline. And we had to put it to a debate because she thinks she's right. I know I'm right. You know how it goes.
I'm always right.
She's always
Never forget.
Yes, so you are joining us now. Thank you so much. Obviously, that is Jamila Glean of Glean Law, of Soca Say So, of J Dreaming. I mean, she's West Indian, so you know how this goes. And I am your other host, Deanna Andrews. I am known as Dish Chick the blogger, Dish Chick Consulting, Dish Chick Afro. I'm also West Indian, so. So many hats. But we are so excited to get into this.
And what is this?
What is this?
Ask. This is debate topic. Drum roll, please. Was Michael B. Jordan actually wrong for naming his rum Juve? Take a sip on that.
Let it sink in. Let that just sink in.
So if you don't know, if you were, I don't know, asleep in a coma, maybe you took a social media break over the weekend, so maybe you didn't see this. Michael B. Jordan started promoting his new rum line, and the rum is called Juve. And instantly, Caribbean people went to Twitter, and they were up in arms. And there are many arguments for why they were upset, why they're okay with it. But we saw a lot of things flying around, and we said, you know what? Let's take a deep breath and let's have an intellectual look at the topic. Why are people getting upset? And just tackle the actual thing that happened. And then I think we'll go to a broader scope of what it really means on a larger side. So was Michael B. Jordan actually wrong for naming his rum Juve? I will flip a coin so we can see who goes first. And wait, before we start, I gotta say, we may not necessarily think exactly 100% for the arguments that we choose tonight, but for argument's sake, we are going to stick with one side for this debate portion. Okay, each person's gonna get 5 minutes to give their greatest argument for their side, and then we'll have a little back and forth, and then we will allow the audience to come in with questions, and we will talk about your comments, and we will talk about it all. Yeah. I'm gonna flip a coin now.
Well, you have to tell them who's arguing which side.
Right. There's that. So I am going to argue the point that he was not wrong. It was okay for him to name the rum Juve. And Deanna is going to argue he was so wrong. How dare he name his rum Juve? Right? Now we got that squared away. You can call it
tails. Oh boy.
Oh, one more time.
We should have practiced just actually flipping a coin.
One more time. I can do this.
Okay.
You said tails? Heads. I want you to go first.
Oh, well, okay. If you Okay, so given the format, I will explain why I believe, for the sake of this argument, of course he was wrong. So a lot of the comments that we have seen have been very emotional, but one of the things that I think, if you are going to enter into any business venture, the first thing you need to do is do your due diligence. You need to do your research. You need to figure out if, one, I mean, he's looking for a trademark, so is there already a trademark? You also need to figure out what this word means, whoever came up with it. And then you need to just kind of understand what this would mean. I mean, you're slapping this on a rum label. What does this mean? You are linking this to a Caribbean island country, or at least to Caribbean culture. You should really take a moment to figure out what this word means within that context. I would never create anything, put my name on it, enter into a business venture without doing that kind of due diligence. I do understand that he was in business with some other Caribbean people. It's said that they're Trinidadian. I have not yet found the names of these people. If this is the case, because again, I have not found the names of these people. If this is the case, Michael B. Jordan, as a businessman, as a figure, as an icon, needs to know who he's in bed with. Who are you going into business with? What's their stake in this? How did this come about? Did they approach you and you're just the figurehead, the face of the company? Or were you really interested in creating a rum and you wanted to have this cultural significance? If that is the case, the people that he is involved with and doing business with also drop the ball. Now, I will say they have a statement on the back of the package that does pay homage to Trinidad. I know you're going to bring it up, so I'm not trying to anticipate your arguments. But to say that the word Juve has no foreign meaning, then why are you putting this on a rum? Obviously, there is a meaning to this word. I do not buy for a second that they knew, that they said, okay, no, this word has no cultural significance, no foreign meaning. It can't be translated. I do not believe that they would then put this word that has no meaning on the rum. So not buying it. So that's two, right? First is do your due diligence. Second is figure out who you're in bed with, who you're going into business with. Are these unscrupulous people who just want to use your face and image to make money on a rum brand? If so, he dropped the ball. He definitely dropped the ball. So no to all of that. Last point is there is iconography that suggests Caribbean culture and carnival. I am just baffled that you would not look into, why this iconography? Why this imagery? Why represent this and say that this is linked to carnival? And what does it mean to carnival? What is the significance? So one, I am not buying that they did not know that this could be a potential issue. I think the statement of, oh, it's never my intention to offend. Of course, I don't think he was trying to offend, but he definitely did not do good business. As a celebrity and a cultural entity, and someone who has made a name for himself in breaking barriers himself, right? Trying to portray Black icons, trying to really pay homage to Black history. I am deeply disappointed that as a Black businessman, you forgot the business part of this. So no, I think he was well wrong for calling the rum Juve.
Okay. Well, I disagree. And here's why. I think that Michael B. Jordan was A-okay with calling this rum Juve. One, I think we need to talk about what a trademark is just a little bit. A trademark is when you're trying to protect the name of a product or and its use in commerce, right? So it has to be protecting something. It has you when you're registering for a trademark, you have to attach it to the thing. How are you going to use this name? What is it going to be associated with? What is the product? Then when they're looking to see if they should give you this registration, we're talking about the US right now. When they're looking to see if they should give you this allow this registration, they will look to see if there are any other similar products that are used, because the idea is they want to make sure that the American consumer will not be confused when they're looking at the name of your product, that they think, oh, I thought I was getting something else for my money. Not your thing. I thought I was getting something else. And so they'll be looking to see that there is no similar product that this word is associated with. It is one of the things, right? And just to that layer alone, I would say that he was not looking for a trademark of an event, of a festival, of a party even. He was looking to register the mark for an actual drink, right? For labels that will go on the bottles of a drink associated with this drink. And I don't have any, I can't think of anything where Juve is just a drink. I'm not going to be confused when I go in the liquor store and they said, hey, would you like to try some Juve? And I'm going to think, see you at 5:55 a.m. because I'm not prepared for this, putting oil on me and putting mud and paint. No, I'm not going to get confused in that way, right? So I should, in that, just that layer, right? There's many layers to getting a trademark registration. Yeah, I thought that was fine. It's not descriptive. It's not just merely a descriptive term. To the point of people being offended that he said that the registration, not he said, the registration said that there was no other use for the word. I think that's ancillary. I think that's just his lawyers trying to make sure that the registration goes through. It is up to the registration officer, to the attorney that's looking at it, to do their research and figure out if there is some other word, right? So if you're going to register queso for your company and you sell cheese, and they're supposed to look and say, oh no, in other countries, queso means cheese, you're not going to get a registration for that. They were going to do their research and they were going to look up rums and they were going to look and see if there's any use. Is there another way to use the word Juve? Even if they did come up with research, which I really want to get into that in a second, they're not going to come up with a rum, right? So there's that. I think also it is a-okay because he has taken on a symbol of emancipation, a symbol of freedom from slavery, and flipped it on him. He flipped it on him. Listen, rum was manufactured in the islands by the slave master using slave labor. And now a Black man owns a company that is bringing us the rum, bringing the money, bringing the work to Trinidad. So the people of Trinidad can get work. The people of Trinidad can get recognition. He did kind of a fanciful Trinidad symbols on his on the labeling. He said that he's going to make the rum in Trinidad. I keep saying I'm sorry. The wording said that they were going to make the rum in Trinidad, which would mean labor, which would mean recognition. Listen, I think that he did an amazing thing to show the world that there is a thing called Juve, and it is a great thing. He's going to have to, when he goes to peddle this, he's going to have to explain why did you pick this name? And then he's going to have to tell people, well, there is this jubilation of emancipation, and it happens, and it is slaves rising up against the slave masters, and we wanted to bottle that emotion, and obviously we can't, but we want to bring the vibe. And so he's going to have to tell the story of the Caribbean everywhere he goes, and that is a good thing because the Caribbean doesn't tell its own story. Trinidadians do not take the time to write down their history. Grenadians, everybody else, we need to do better. We need to do better. And first and foremost, Juve is not just Trinidadian, so we can all relax on that. But my last point, sorry, I have to go to my notes because there are many. I think the in the packaging, he already put in Angostura rum, which is Angostura bitters, which is tied to the Caribbean. There's a whole there was marketing towards saying this is from and of this people. Learn that there is a thing. And in that little blurb, there was more history than many have put down to paper. And also, lastly, I would say, if we Caribbean had shown enough deference and respect to our own thing, nobody would dare to come and take it for their own.
So there was much speculation in that he would have done marketing that celebrates the culture in that way. I don't know. In that way of saying, wow, this is really about the history of it. This is about, you know.
But he put it on the packaging. It was there.
No, the marketing that you're saying he would have had to do to tell people about this. First of all, we do know that there are many brands of alcohol and other products where no one really tells that story in their marketing. They put the bottle on the shelf and you buy it because it's Michael B. Jordan. It is not necessarily, I mean, George Clooney has a rum, I forget the name of it. I think it's like Three Amigos or something to that effect. I don't remember him doing the pageant tour of explaining that. I do not believe that would have been the case. But either way, that's speculating that he would have done that. I do think having the packaging, the marketing, etc., that's separate. Trademarking the word Juve and saying that this is going to be a trademark for the rum, whether that means it's only going to be sold in the US or whatever. I think there was definitely more that could have been done prior to this, because in anything, all right, I'm putting my marketing hat on. You warm the market, right? You get them excited for the thing, you get the backing, you get them interested. And I understand that trademark filing may not necessarily come in the pre-marketing plan. But I don't think that the way that this was done, the way that this was exposed, I don't think that this was necessarily about celebrating the culture of Trinidad, or we're saying Trinidad, we mean Juve, but you know what I'm saying. For the sake of this argument, don't give me that face. For the sake of this conversation, for the sake of this conversation. However, I agree. Yes, if there was a competing trademark, then this would not be an issue, right? If whoever had done it, then this wouldn't even be an issue. You're not going to get it. It already exists. I am very concerned with the idea that labeling something from our culture means you are celebrating it. I don't necessarily believe that was the intention. Now, I will say this as well, because we've had these discussions offline. I am confused by some of the outrage. I'm definitely confused by some of the outrage. I think we have seen this before, especially with Trinidad, steel pan, etc. I do think that, yes, you may not have thought to trademark the word Juve, whatever, but the outrage that someone is coming in to steal a culture. I mean, they said this when Mr. Killer won Soca Monarch, like everything is stealing the culture, right? I think we really do have to preserve what is ours. We have to record it. I am a very big fan of recording our history. We don't do it. It's a lot of oral history, which was great, African tradition, of course. But at some point, if you can't point to the document that says this is yours, it won't be. It just won't be, right? If you cannot point to the document that says steel pan originated in your country, it didn't, right? We have to record these things. I do think that this is yet again another warning sign for much of the Caribbean. I mean, I don't know what else they can take, but at this point, we really have to get serious about preserving our things, writing things down, telling our stories, making sure that we document and own things. This goes to, we've had this conversation about musicians copywriting their music, making sure that it's listed somewhere, making sure they have performing rights, all of that good stuff. We've had these conversations. Until we start treating the business of Caribbean culture, which is basically what we're trying to market to the world, like a business, you're going to run into these things. You're definitely going to run into these things. We're going to have to get business savvy real quick. There's not much left to take. There is not much left to take.
I will let you know that I just did a live search for trademarks for Juve.
Okay.
And there are at least 5 applications out there, all before Michael B. Jordan's company. There's only one that's alive right now, and that one is for, let's see what they actually do. Audio and video recordings featuring music and artistic performances, digital media, pre-recorded DVDs, downloadable. This was filed in 2013. So I know a lot of people were arguing, you're only upset because it's a celebrity. You're only upset because it's a Black person. In the vein of staying on the side of it's a great thing to do. Not a great thing, but it's okay to register the word Juve for an alcohol. I think that it is okay to pick a word and use it. Like at some point.
I think that's okay, but at some point you do have to anticipate the response to this, right? The response to this to me does not seem like you couldn't see this coming.
Well, I'm going to finish that to say that I think you could have said, why would it be a problem? There are things called Juve right now. That's okay. There are things called Calypso. There are things called soca. There are things called, many other terms that West Indians believe are tied to their heritage and culture, and people are profiting off of them. So why would this be any different? Right? I can see how somebody would be confused, that people would be up in arms when you see things that are happening already.
Yes, somebody, but for this particular person who has said many times he wants to make sure that Black people, Black Americans, Black people globally are having a voice, are creating a space. I think this could have been something you warm the market for, right? You get people on side before you start. Even, there have been many launches of businesses prior to any of the filing being done, where they get people on side, they get them excited about it, they get them interested in it. And yeah, for someone of his caliber who is doing things in the way he is doing them, I don't think that is necessarily an excuse. Now, I will say, because we have to stay in our lanes right now, right?
Just for a couple of minutes.
We did. I would like to hear from the business partners, honestly, because sometimes, and we don't know how this originated, right? We don't know if he went to them or they came to him. I suspect they came to him. He's got the cachet. But even if, I would like to know how that actually originated and the initial intention. He is getting a lot of the flack because of his status, and because if he is promoting something, yes, it will get eyes on it, versus his Trinidadian partners probably wouldn't have the same cachet. Yeah. I don't think, other people are colonizing things. What's the problem if I colonize it? Is an excuse.
And I would counter that to say, you're before you were saying that I was conjecturing and I had no idea about what the future plans of marketing. You don't know that he didn't ask a bunch of Trinidadians, and he didn't ask a bunch of people.
You're right.
And they said, Michael B. Jordan? Yes, do what you like. Yes. Oh my gosh. Listen, was one thing I know. West Indians love when people outside of our thing appreciate our thing. That's one thing I know. I could sit here and say, this oil down is great. This oil down is amazing. This white person from Minnesota eats some oil down and you're like, oh, he knows about oil down? Oh my gosh, wow, look. He knows about it. He said it tastes good. This is how we do. Unfortunately, this is how we do. So I don't even know if he didn't ask 20, 50, 100 West Indian people and they said, yes, go along. this is sounds great to me. Do it. And
But this is
I
why
don't
I'd want
think,
to hear from them.
and I don't think on his side, I don't think he would come out. I don't know if he would come out and say, all of y'all told me to do this. I don't know if at the point where it blew up, I don't know if that would have served him. Maybe he would have said it if he actually happened. But I would definitely not be surprised if he at least got sign offs from many West Indians. I'm just gonna go to the chat room for half a second and say hello, hi everyone. Thank you for joining us so much live on YouTube. We are live on YouTube right now. Tell a friend to tell a friend, please share the live. I'm gonna shout out a few people. Brooklyn Psycho's on check-in. Lulu, Prezi, big up yourselves. Culture Cave is in here. Business. Thank you for joining us. And let's just say a couple of people. Culture Cave is saying that, and a couple people were agreeing that oral history can be lost. So you made that point, and they gave you that. Prezi the Boss said that Calypso Lemonade is fire, proving my point that there are already things that are called names by things that we're culturally tied to, and nobody said a word. It was a-okay. And everybody's noting that the history must be written in order for everybody else to appreciate it and understand it and respect it. So that's where we are right now. I would just say that I think when you're at a trademark stage, for any product, right? Anything you're going to sell, it means that you think you have a great product and you think you have a great name and a great branding for that product, so much so that you are afraid that other people will steal it. Because let me tell you, if you have a mark and you use it in commerce, you will have USPTO protection. You have trademark protection just by using it in commerce. But if you register your mark, then you have more that you can get if you choose to sue someone, because they are fully on notice, right? They can do a simple search and they can find out that you already have that mark, right? Whereas if I sell to everybody if I sell my lemonade, the Jamila lemonade, to everybody on my street, well, you won't use the word Jamila, that you'll never get that mark, but no one will give you that registration. It's just a name. But anyway.
I'm going to put an accent over it and I will definitely get that mark. What are you talking about?
Yes, I'm selling the lemonade only on my blog. Everybody's been buying it for, a year. I say, and then you come out with the same exact thing and you go and you get your registration. I could still sue you, right? And I can win because I can show, listen, I have receipts. I have people on my Instagram saying this tastes great. They bought it and all this stuff. So you don't need to register your mark, just telling people out there. But if you do, you can get more money for legal fees from the other person. You can get more damages fees. So you have more protections and it'll just be quicker, right? It's a lot easier to say registration date. This is the date it was filed. This is the date it was registered. Boom, bang. I don't have to go through all of this with you, right? So if you get to that point where you're putting money in, you're getting an attorney, you're filing your registration, you're doing all the things, then I would hope you have done your research fully before you submit that, because not only will you have the USPTO looking at your registration and what you're giving them, you have the public as well, because when you register, when they say, okay, you provisionally have gotten an approval, now we're going to give it a grace period where other people can say, no, that's not true. Even though you did research, they gave you documents and everything, I still say it was my mark and I used it first. So I would say that if any government official feels that they really do own the right to the mark of Juve, now is the time, right?
And this is the problem. Because, okay, so first of all, if I'm going to register or trademark anything, I'm going to contact Glean Law because Black-owned, Caribbean-owned business. However, I think this was a missed opportunity. I don't think, he issued an apology and he said, okay, I'm not going to call it Juve. That is such, I think sometimes, we've gotten, I hate to call it cancel culture because that sounds so like new agey, but we've gotten so used to just cutting things off, right? Somebody says something negative, cancel their TV show. Somebody does something like this, cancel them, cancel this whole thing. This could have been a very good PR opportunity if the Ministry of Culture, Tourism decided to work with the people behind, I don't want to keep saying Michael B. Jordan, the people behind the brand. Not to say that they, if we're speculating that they wouldn't have had plans to do that later, but when this whole thing broke, this is a great time to say, you know what, Michael B. Jordan, we invite you to come. I know y'all on lockdown, but we invite you to come to see Trinidad, to understand this. Or you put up that reel where, you have it on Caribbean Airlines of why they should come to Trinidad. You show that like, this is our culture, this is our thing. You really could have done a really good PR tourism pitch in light of all of this, instead of just, let's get him to not call it Juve. Because you know what happens now? Okay, he doesn't call it Juve. Calls it something else. He's still Michael B. Jordan. He didn't actually lose anything, right? If he decides to not move forward with this. But I think sometimes we're so short-sighted with wanting to get things to stop. We don't look at the resolution could be the story, right? The education could be the story. We could have actually promoted what Juve and what carnival culture and Caribbean history really is. And instead, I understand wanting it to not be named, not wanting it to not be trademarked, but in our haste to do that, I think, especially from some of these governments, and I don't want to just put it on Trinidad because a lot of governments could have stepped up to showcase the culture. Everybody is talking about Juve right now. Shade Room, NBC News, everybody is talking about Juve right now. This is a great opportunity to really give them the history and give them the cultural significance so that you could actually showcase and get people interested in coming to your island or country. I think this was a huge missed opportunity. I don't know that this is a win for the culture. But anyway, back to the chat.
Sad face. Let's see. Hello, Deej. Deej87 says, has anyone thought of situations where Caribbeans were influenced by Americans or borrowed Black American culture as if they got an adverse reaction? Caribbean.
It's a good question. I mean, American hip hop and rap is definitely integrated into the music now. The only adverse reaction is from other West Indians. I don't know that when you are kind of the bigger dog, I don't know that you're necessarily paying attention to what's happening there. And there is a difference, because someone had made a similar point with, when you see white women with cornrows and you're like, oh, they're appropriating. But when you see Black women with like Indian hair weaves, why is that not appropriating? There is a difference between assimilation and appropriation. And for us, especially for Black people, a lot of times assimilation is survival.
Right. And you can't appropriate for when you're the smaller group. Like, I'm not taking over what you're doing in order to totally disregard what you have and just make up a new identity for it, or just take it over as my own. I'm not capable of it because nobody cares what I'm doing because I am in the minority. So yes, there was a lot of conversation that Michael B. Jordan is appropriating Caribbean culture. So I did a little lookup of, what are you really supposed to do in these instances? Because I will say, it is not for Trinidad to now turn around and say, we have the trademark on Juve, because the entire Caribbean is going to stand up and want to fight, right? So we don't think, listen, we don't think.
Don't you do it.
Listen, Grenada is going to be like.
And we'll get France in the chat, like, our word, I'm sorry. Just
like a whole thing, right? And so I don't think that the issue is that one country needs to claim this intellectual property, but there is a thing called indigenous intellectual property. So the UN backs the idea that indigenous peoples have just inherently have the intellectual property rights of their ceremonies, their foods, their events, and no one should be able to come in and take them and profit from them, right? So you should, and your indigenous religious activities, your ceremonies, your parties, they belong to you without you having to do a thing. And so there are many countries that have that that are represented by the UN that have that mindset. And so the leaders of the Caribbean should stand up and say, chill, 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 chill. This is what we've been doing since when and when. And this is the significance of it. And it is the sad state that this is not even the story of the actual indigenous people. This is the story of the people that were brought to the islands, and this is what they came up with. It is indigenous to them, this story and this celebration. And that's why it's celebrated all over, because we all had the same thing. Same ship, different trip, same trip. Like we all dealt with the slavery, we all dealt with an emancipation at some point, and there was a celebration of it. And so there should be a collective voice. I argue it should not just be coming from the citizens of these islands, these countries. It should be coming from the government as well. I definitely want to open up the conversation again to everybody who is joining us on the live. We're live on YouTube. Please share the live if you can. Calypso Lemonade is produced by white people in Milwaukee, branded in 2000, says Prezi. We could definitely use this momentum to educate others. Yeah, it's true. This is one moment where a large portion of the Caribbean is actually saying the same thing. So that's great. Finally on the same page here, at least in some part, because some people's arguments were really just like, well, you haven't even been there. Your grandmother's not from there. And then they'd be like, well, I don't care if your grandmother's from there. You still can't do it. So some people's arguments were a bit all over the place, hard to pin down.
Did they not see the Can I Rant with Jamila Glean and George Glean, where you can claim the Caribbean even if you were not born there, if you are a descendant?
Exactly, because I definitely won that debate.
He's not on the live, so I'm going to give that to you. But the minute he steps into the room, I'm going to change my story. I just want you to know.
Exactly. So there's a lot of I was watching some other people are making arguments that Juve is tied to Carnival, and many aspects of Carnival across the islands is really profited by people who are not of African descent, people who were not part of that emancipation movement, people who are not enslaved are the ones that are currently and have been the ones who are majorly profiting off of Juve and Carnival. And so why now, when a Black man wants to make some money, why now are you concerned? When
that Black man is an American celebrity and not, I mean, I do think, sorry, I was reading some of the chats, and I'm going to pivot really quickly because I did see the can we use this momentum to get soca on iTunes? I have so many feelings about this conversation, but I'm going to break this down as succinctly as possible. No.
I almost did a spit. You're lucky I didn't have the tea in my mouth to do a spit take, because boy.
No. If you're here, so you have definitely been following BK Rant and Rave. We have had in our last couple of seasons some people who were pivoting, some people who were doing new moves in the new year, talking about kind of the business behind Caribbean entertainment. And we have a lot more to do than to, let's say, sign a petition. We need to have music categorized properly. We need to have people buying the music, streaming the music on platforms that count the streams. We need to have people actually referring to soca as soca. We also need to have contracts, copyright, and then we need to show a Spotify or an iTunes that there is so much movement behind this that they should dedicate resources and programmers to actually create a whole new category for soca. We do not have that, so no.
Yeah, this does not go into that argument at all, because the people who are wondering if this thing is profitable enough, when like who's making money in music, but like a very small few. Yeah, no, we are so far down that list. It's not even funny. We have to do better for ourselves.
Yeah, but I will invite you to listen to the last season, season 5, New Year, New Moves of the BK Rant Rave podcast. You can go to bkrantandrave.com to hear all of the, here's some insights from the people behind the music who are trying to change the whole culture of the music scene. And it goes beyond soca, but to definitely try to have soca creators doing business that will actually impact enough for iTunes and Spotify to dedicate resources to it. So go ahead and check that out.
Yeah. Don't get me started,
Let's
but you summed
let's
that
not
up
mix
really
the whole
well.
thing together.
You summed that up really, really well. So but just record that and send that to your friends, everyone, because if we all know what we have to do and we do it, then it's possible. Just saying.
I see the white wine conversation coming back, and yes, can I also sum that one up?
Yeah.
Okay, that's on us. That is definitely on us. That quest for white validation, we really need to cut that out, because when you open the door, when you are seeking white validation so much, you can enable cultural appropriation. You can have someone who then shows up and said, well, I'm a pioneer and I'm opening the door for people, because you've given them so much of a platform to make a statement like that. Also, in that situation, I will say this, because no one has said to his credit that the statement was made when he was at a Black Lives Matter roundtable and actually there to try to understand the movement. I will give him that much credit. I do think he got very flustered and said the dumbest thing. But that's on us. We need to eat that. We need to stop giving a voice to people who may take our things and run with them, no pun intended, in a way that is not beneficial to us. So there is that. Because he didn't know how to whine before he went to St. Lucia. He says it in many interviews that he was working at a hotel and the staff there taught him how to whine so he could be part of the entertainment for the hotel. So yeah.
Which is, this is why I would not be shocked if Michael B. Jordan was like, what? I spoke to all of these Trinidadians, I spoke to all of these West Indian people, and they said, yes, Galang, yes, that's a great idea. I would not be shocked. I would not be shocked, because we are very happy to give away our thing, like always. And because we want validation from the outsiders. And, you know, oh, a Black person must do something. And then, you know, you never know. It could have been his West Indian partners that went and asked people, and they were like, yeah, that's great. Oh, wait, I didn't know you were doing this with a non-West Indian person, and that's the issue. Because I think the crux of the issue is really that he's not West Indian and he's a celebrity. All right. I would actually add that he's not Black, because if he was white and a celebrity, I don't know. If it was Kim Kardashian came with it, I don't know. People love these people so
No,
much.
nope. You
People
called the
love these
right
people so much.
name.
I don't know.
No, you called the right name because Kim Kardashian did try to do something like this by calling something in her beauty line kimono. And no, she was handled. She was snatched up and could
Excuse
not do
me.
it.
Kimono, is that African? Is that African people wanting to be
No,
associated with
obvious.
the richest people that they know who are definitely not Black?
No, but I don't think that if he was white, this would have been less outrage. I honestly don't think that.
Well, I think so because there are things called Carnival that have nothing to do with Carnival. There's a thing called Calypso. It's nothing to do with Calypso.
If there was all outrage over someone who's not a celebrity being white and claiming to be like the pioneer of dancers, I would imagine that the same would be true if some white face says I'm trademarking Juve. Granted, that slid with the steel pan thing, but that was not as obvious as this
He
one.
was
I
on
don't think so.
he was on stage with Black people. If a company just came out there, we will never know, right?
We
We
will
will
never
never know.
know, and we can't debate the speculation, but I'm going to say, yeah, I think the outrage would have been the same because, or actually, I can't say the same. It may have been probably bigger because there's so much of right now this need to it's wanting to preserve things but not necessarily in the through the proper channels, right? So it's wanting to say, Juneteenth should be a recognized holiday. How does that help us? Like, okay, it's like wanting to have the rights to steel pan, but you don't want to teach the culture in the schools because that's inappropriate. Like, I don't know. I don't know.
Sorry, just about on that Juneteenth thing. The Juneteenth recognition of a holiday is only a problem because all these other things are happening at the same time and they are way more pressing than a holiday. But on any other day when we were quite asleep about many of those other things, it would have been really good. Yes, give Black people a day off like we deserve.
Just
We deserve.
Black people a day off.
Yeah,
Because
wouldn't
white
that been
people are
better?
getting a day off. White
Wouldn't
people
it
are
be
getting
better?
a day off.
But it's okay because we get a day off for Columbus Day and more people don't give a nothing about Columbus. And so, but we'll take the day though. Like, yeah. I'm not celebrating him, but I'm gonna take the day. I'm gonna take the day.
That's reparation.
Yeah. So
we are so off topic right now.
No, we're getting back. I'm just gonna go back to the chat. DJ7 says, we enable cultural appropriation all the time, which is partially why the Michael B. Jordan thing feels so yucky, because it is a Black person. Agreed. I think race definitely comes into play, whether or not it would have been different for somebody else. Because it is a Black person, you know how it feels when people come in and take your identity and just make a profit off of it, because that's it. There was no, we don't know what other things he was going to do with it, but we know for sure he was using it to make a profit.
Yes.
And so, I fully agree. Taking your cultural event to make a profit, not cool.
Especially from someone who has been a champion for Black voices.
Yeah. A lot of people have said that this is a missed opportunity to call it out and make him change the name, because many mass bands and promoters and artists and this and that could have gotten great sponsorship deals from it. Is it okay that we're losing out on that part of the conversation? Like, why didn't people say more, oh, he should do this and he should start leading him down that path of not just change the name, but make sure you do this and make sure you do that. Like, people were saying those things in the WhatsApp groups, not on Twitter, not on, I didn't see enough of the, well, here's what you can do. I didn't see enough. I said, not never, not any. There wasn't enough of here's what you could do. Apologize and do this. Don't just leave this behind. Don't just leave the idea of working with Caribbean people. Keep that energy, sir, and do better, right? Because the
Yeah.
conversation in the beginning was 100% just change the name, period, and that's that.
Yeah, you know, my marketing hat goes on and being like, but that doesn't help anything. It's like leaving the car by the side of the road. Like we could have done so much more with this to really showcase the culture. And I see this often whenever there's a dispute, especially Insta wars or Twitter beef. The resolution could be the story, and both sides could actually benefit from it. In this case, he doesn't produce the rum, and we're done. I mean, you know, I'm going to stretch myself and say, well, at least there was news coverage that mentions what Juve is,
Mm-hmm.
because you know we all read the newspapers 10 days later.
I would just hope that at the end of this, West Indians realize how important it is to, write down the history, hold people accountable for their actions, and to really state your claim for what you have, respect what you have made, respect what you have done, and Carnival is once a year, and that's probably the only time you're gonna hear about Juve, and you're not gonna mention it again until a month or so before Carnival. And maybe that's the conversation that we need to have. Maybe we need to have more history in the schools throughout the year, more conversations, more webinars, more books, more, that we are talking about the significance of Carnival and Juve, to the point where everybody in the world understands it and couldn't dare to try and steal it.
Yes, I fully agree. We definitely need to protect our things. There's nothing wrong with sharing it as long as it's protected, right? Like you can share it as long as you've protected it so no one can steal it.
Right.
Right? Like, yeah, they can pet the horse, but the horse is in the barn. Like you're not going to take my horse.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, I don't know if people know this, but the way that I got involved in Carnival and blogging was from doing a study abroad in Trinidad. And my course was called Trinidad Carnival Culture and History. So it is possible. It's how I learned everything. It's how I learned about Juve. It's how I went up into Paramin to see the Blue Devils, went to Mayaro for the stick fighting. I met Trinidadians who hadn't done that. And I think it's a shame. I mean, listen, I understand that when you're living the life, you don't necessarily need to study the life, right? I'm a New Yorker. I don't go to the Empire State Building or the Statue of Liberty just on the regular, but I know they exist and I can tell you about them and I can speak intelligently about them. And if we are not teaching these things and passing them down and making it part of curriculum, you know, I'm also now I'm going to take off the marketing hat and put the professor hat on. It's important to understand not just the significance and the names and where things come from, but to understand how these things play out in culture today, right? If we did that, I promise you, mass bands would look different. That's right, I said it. We wouldn't just be bikinis and beads. That's right, I said it. But there would be more of people going to Trinidad or to any island for a longer period of time to spend time understanding the culture, going to the Cambolet riots, taking tours up and down, the coast, making sure that they go to Toco, eat some fresh fish, like understand that there's more to this, that this is a culture, this is about a people, this is a history. And if you're not presenting that to outsiders, if you're not presenting that to your future generations, then it will just be bikinis and beads. Mm-hmm. It will just be Juve is a rum.
Yeah, I mean, there's an argument to be made that, you can't steal our thing because it's in our spirit, it's in our soul, it's in our blood. And
you can see me. That's right. Sorry.
And I say, listen, there was carnival costumes and on the Olympics. It was all over the place. And, Mitchell did that, yes, but he made sure the story was there. Mm-hmm. You didn't just see the costumes. You know where they were from, why they existed, how they are brought about every year. The story was with it. If you just let your stuff go, it won't be yours, and the story will keep changing. And it'll just be that cool new thing that I do now. Bill Columbus said all over again, and that's not okay. I want to say hello, hi to Big Bad Soca artist Nasa Lay. Thanks for joining us on the live or YouTube. She was also disgusted by the Juneteenth at this moment. I mean, it's just we need more than that at this moment right now. 2021. So much going on with Black people and their rights and protecting rights and
lives.
At the same time that we're getting a holiday to talk about, how Black people were not told about freedom. We're also being told, you know what, we're not even going to teach slavery and all that other stuff. That's kind of icky. We're not even going to teach that in schools. So what are we doing? I don't know. But I want to wrap it up. I want to leave it for final thoughts. We have a whole debate series lined up for you guys. Unfortunately, we didn't talk earlier, but I got some news that we may have to switch around the schedule one more time. But the topics, I think we could let out the bag with the topics. So you say yes or no.
Let it out.
Okay, great. So
we've already protected it. So go ahead and share.
Right? Topics that we're going to talk about is to vaccine or not vaccine. We will have people talking intelligently about that. Do you get the vaccine or not? And then we will be talking about the Caribbean diet. Is traditional Caribbean eating the way of eating? Is that something we need to retire? Is it something we need to change? Or we know what's good for us and we're doing it right. Stick to it. We will debate about that. We will debate about the FET experience that is happening post-COVID. Do we need to change the way we party in this? I'm saying post-COVID, but still here. Do we need to change the way we party in 2021 and beyond? Or do things just need to stay the same? Do we just need to get out there and party how we used to party because I just want to free up with my friends? That's the third one. And then the final one is all about you Caribbean parents out there. Are they your dream killers or should we really listen to them? When Caribbean parents are giving advice to their children, especially about careers and how to live their lives, are they always right? Are they really just stealing our thunder and just squashing our dreams? Or should we listen to them because they know better and they've seen a thing or two? So we will debate we will have people on to debate those topics intelligently. We will give you time to chime in as well and give your thoughts. So please stay locked in.
And all of them will be right here on the BK Rant and Rave YouTube channel. So make sure if you are not subscribed, you have time. Go ahead.
Do it.
We'll pause.
Yeah, put the notifications on too. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Check out bkrantandrave.com and get up to date on all of the podcast episodes. My goodness, we've had so many of them. 5 seasons, and you need to get all the way caught up. Yeah.
If I do say so myself, I think they were brilliant. And so, yes, definitely make sure that you are subscribed to the BK Rant and Rave podcast. You can do that by going to bkrantandrave.com, or you can just find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. But subscribe because we want to know that you are listening. And feel free to leave a review, leave a 5-star rating. That's right, I said a 5-star rating. Why would you leave anything else? Just so we know that you are listening. And guys, we cannot wait to tell you what's going to happen with season 6. But first, you have to get through this debate series. And we have some great guests. We will be back, of course, moderating these things. So you will see our lovely faces again. But we are going to have some really good guests. I don't know. Some of these, they told us a little bit of where they fall on things. And some of them, I'm like, I don't know.
You sure you want to say that? Yes. Good.
Yeah. Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Please share this. This will be up for a long time, and then we'll also put it on the website. Make sure that you share it and still comment. We really want to know what your thoughts are, where you stand. Honestly, personally, I'm more in the middle of things. My gut reaction was, don't do it. And then I said, you know what? They allow other nonsense to happen. Why not you? So like my brain went all over the place. Like I was so glued to this topic all week. So, I want to know what you guys are thinking. What are you grappling with this issue of using the name Juve as a rum name?
I'd also like to find out what you think of the apology. What do you think? Is this a win? We got them to not trademark the name Juve. Is this a win for the culture, or do you think we probably missed an opportunity? Feel free to leave a comment on this video or follow us individually. You can follow Soca Say So on Instagram, Twitter, all social media. You can follow Dish Chick on all social media, but make sure you are following BK Rant and Rave. And of course, once again, subscribe to this YouTube channel. I'm so excited. We're going to be putting so many good discussion topics on here. You don't want to miss it.
Excellent. Okay, bye.